So, we're arguing about whether one thing is more superior than the other. There is no superiority. There's no superiority in God's universe, right? The fish is not superior to the bird. The bird is not superior to the antelope. They're just different. They're better at some things and not better at other things. The bird is not generally very good at swimming. The fish is generally not very good at flying, right? They each serve a purpose. The sky isn't superior to the land. The land isn't superior to the sea. It's just different. So, we argue about things like who is superior to who else, right? So you start to realize that the things that we talk about are all based in the ego, right? So that's why we have to move beyond the ego, because all these arguments that we have are ego-based. I think I'm separate from you and I'm superior to you, and you're not. Nobody's superior to anybody else, not on any other planet or here, right? So the question is, realistically, if we recognize that all our problems are ego-based, how do we get out of the ego? How do we turn away? Achieve enlightenment, okay? Now, enlightenment is a very scary term for a lot of people. It means a lot of things. It means you shine light out of your ass, whatever it is, right? Okay, so let's talk about how we raise our consciousness, right? Okay, so the Bhagavad Gita lists a couple of different ways to raise your consciousness or to move into alignment with that, okay? So one of the ways is through, let's say, we'll put it right here, devotion. It's the way of Christians and Muslims and that sort of stuff, right? Another way is selfless service. Service. Okay, think of Mother Teresa or Gandhi, right? Dedicating your life to humanity, right? The other way is the path of wisdom. That's the way of Buddha, right? Another way to say wisdom is truth. Another way to say selfless service, dedicate yourself to life. Another way to teach or to think about devotion is love. So what is the Bhagavad Gita telling you? Move into alignment with what is God. That's why Jesus taught devotion. It's probably the easiest one to do. In every action, take the most loving action. That's it. Jesus' message was not, I died on the cross to take the sins of humanity on me so that if you believe in me, you'll go to heaven and not go to hell. Jesus' message was, love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and all thy soul and all thy mind. Love thy neighbor as thyself. Love thy enemy. That was Jesus' message. That's what he did on the cross. When he was on the cross, before he was on the cross, he forgave everybody. So forgive them, they know not what they do. Right? I think Jesus suffered on the cross, maybe physically. It's probably painful to be out there, yeah. Right? But suffering is a physical thing. There's a story of Nisargadatta Maharaj, one of the Indian saints, where a woman who had cancer said was talking with him, and he said, you don't suffer. She says, what do you mean I don't suffer? I have cancer. And he says, no, you don't suffer. Who you think you are suffers. Who you are doesn't suffer. And she said, you telling me with all, because he was Indian, he said, you telling me with all things going on in your country and India and Pakistan and all that sort of stuff, you don't suffer. He says, in my world nothing ever goes wrong. Right? That's what a saint will say. So when people say Jesus suffered on the cross, no, he didn't. Physically, maybe, right? But he didn't suffer. He called that to him through the law of attraction, right? He asked to find a way to impact humanity that we would talk about for centuries, and we screwed up the message. The purpose of the resurrection was to tell you, you are not your body. That's what it was. It was love. You are not your body. You are God. I am the Son of God, and ye are my brethren. Not really rocket science to figure out. That means, look, God, what is the offspring of God? Right. Is that rocket science? Is that hard to figure out? Decidedly average intelligence, right? Ye are my brethren. We're all in this together. We are all one. That's the message. Verily, as you have done to the least of these, my brethren, you have done so unto me. That's the message. That's the same message they all come with. Buddha's message was, we are all Buddha. He went there through wisdom. Jesus' message is, we are all one. He got through love. And you can bet that Mother Teresa and Gandhi were doing the same thing through selfless service. Now the interesting thing is, Jesus, Mother Teresa, Buddha, Christ, or Krishna, you know what they all had in common? They meditated. Every single one of them. Most spiritually advanced people meditate. It's not a requirement, but damn sure helps. Right? So that's how you get into alignment with this. The longer you stay in the silence, the longer you... Jesus said, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven. The kingdom of heaven lies within. You think you crack open your chest, you're going to find heaven in there?
Yeah.
No. Right?
It's just going to hurt.
It'd probably hurt. I wouldn't want it. But, go within. And then what do Christians do? They look for heaven outside of themselves. Completely miss the message. Jesus' message was love, unity, compassion. The church that sprung up around him teaches fear, separation, and judgment. What does that look like? Love, ego. So we've got entire religions based around the ego. Think they're going to get to God that way? Think they're going to go into alignment that way?
Yeah.
Probably not. But again, no judgment. They can do whatever they want. You got freedom of choice to do whatever you want. How do we know we have freedom of choice? Well, because we're God.
Right.
So God has, think about this, God has full freedom to create whatever he wants without freedom, or with freedom from judgment or condemnation. Right?
Right.
He's the infinite creator. And if we're him, and God is love, well then a manifestation of God's love, if God and love are synonyms, then love is the full freedom to create without judgment or condemnation. Because that's what God is. So we have full freedom to do whatever we want. That's why the world doesn't need fixing. Even though there's racism, even though there's violence, even though there's war, it does not need to be fixed. But we can if we want. Question?
So should we?
If you want to.
Okay.
The whole purpose of this is to decide who we are and who we want to be.
Okay.
Because we can't remember. But once
So
we
it's not like a wrong thing to try and fix
No.
it.
So here's one of the problems. Fear, judgment, separation, ego, wants to make things right or wrong. Or wrong. Right?
It's kind of like what choice.
It's duality.
Yeah.
Is this right or is this wrong? Well, all duality is illusion anyway. Right? So there is no right or wrong. Is the bird more right than the fish? Right? There's no right or wrong to any of it. We blow ourselves. We're immortal. What happens when you die? You reemerge into non-physical. So if we blow ourselves up, what happens? We all reemerge into non-physical at the same time. Oh well. Life continues. Why? Because God and life are synonyms. You can't kill God, so you can't kill life. Right? You ever notice that when a city gets abandoned, it gets overgrown with life again?
Yeah.
Why? Because life finds a way, as they say in Jurassic Park. Right? Life always finds a way. Life will continue. Life has always continued. Life will always life has continued and always will, just in different forms. So if we killed everybody on the planet, we'd just start all over again. Doesn't need to be fixed.
Yay.
Now, that being said, with this knowledge, you get to decide who you are and who you want to be. The reason why I'm giving these talks is because I've decided who I am and who I want to be. Right? I've decided that it is my desire to spread love, to increase consciousness, to raise people's awareness. That's all I want to do. I have no attachment to the world. I was talking to Angus, I think, when you went to the washroom. I have no attachment to them.
Feeling that.
Yeah, I have no attachment to the world. If it wasn't for my wife and kids, I would go live in an ashram or a monastery somewhere and meditate 18 hours a day and eat a bowl of rice and sweep the floor. It doesn't mean anything to me. You know, because I know the world's perfect the way it is. But I'm here, I might as well do something, right? What better to do than to spread
I'm
love,
with you on that.
right?